Hello everyone. Today's topic of discussion is domain and range of a function. Okay. So in this video, we'll be understanding what do you mean by the term domain and what do you mean by the term range and how do we calculate domain and range of any particular function. Okay. Now this is, to be very frank, this is not that important a topic as far as SAT is concerned. However, you need to know this because there may be a possibility that they may ask you questions on domain and range. Okay, so without wasting our time further, let's start with the concept that is domain and range of a function. So in the two things, that is domain and range, the important concept is that of domain. Once you understand what is domain, calculating range or understanding range will be a lot easier for you. Okay, so when you talk about domain, how do you define domain? Okay, so when you talk about this term domain, domain is basically set of input values for which function will give us real output values, or let's add the real word for input values also. So it's basically set of those real input values for which function will give us real output values. This is like the simplest way of defining the term domain. Okay, now if you have gone through my video in which I have explained the basics of functions, I told you that function is basically a relationship between input and an output value, or it basically works like an industry or a machine. What happens in an industry or a machine is that you provide raw material as your input, and you get finished goods as your output. Now every function behaves in the same way, no matter what type of function you may have. You may have a linear function, quadratic, cubic, logarithmic, trigonometric, inverse trigonometric, whatever function you will ever come across in maths, every function has one simple role to perform. That is, for the corresponding input values that you will be providing, it's going to provide you with the output values. Now these input values for which your output is always a real value, is known as a domain. For those input values for which your output is always a real value is known as your domain. Those input values are known as your domain. For example, let's say suppose I give you a function fx is equal to x, a simple linear function fx is equal to x. Now input any value of x from negative infinity to infinity, any value, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1000, 1 million, 1 billion, -5, -7, -8, -1 million, -1 million. Put any value of x. You can even put decimal like 0.00001, -0.00001, and so on and so forth. Input any value, replace x by any real value, you will always get a real value of fx, or you will always get a real output value. So if you talk about the domain of this function fx is equal to x, the domain is negative infinity to infinity. Because for no real value, the function is going to give you, or the output of the function will be an imaginary value. It will always be a real value. The output value will always be the real value. So in this case, the domain becomes negative infinity to infinity. Let's take another example. Let's say I give you another function that is fx is equal to root x. Fx is equal to root x. Now I know that when you talk about this function root, roots are not defined for negative numbers. Roots are not defined for negative numbers. Like for example, if I ask you what is under root of -1, it goes to iota, that is imaginary numbers. Under root of -2, then it's again imaginary. So I know that root is not defined. The function root is not defined for negative numbers or for negative input values. So in this case, the only input values that you can provide is x greater than or equal to 0. The only input value that you can provide is x greater than or equal to 0, because for x equal to 0, root of 0 is 0. And for positive numbers, the function root is defined. Root 1 is 1, root 2 is 1.414, root 3 is 1.732, and so on and so forth. So the domain for this will become x is greater than or equal to 0. You can take another function, for example, let's say if I gave you fx is equal to 1 over x minus 2. Now we know that if you write something as 1 over 0 or any number divided by 0, this is not defined in maths. When you say not defined, that basically means the output is not real or the value is not real. 1 over 0 is not real. Any number divided by 0 is not real. It's imaginary. It's something that we can't comprehend. It's something that is not defined in maths. So I just need to ensure that x minus 2 should not be 0. Which means x should not be equal to 2. Put any other value of x apart from 2. You will always get a real output value. Even if you put 2.01, you will get 1 over 2.01 minus 2, that is 1 over 0.1, that is 10. Put x is equal to 3, you will get 1 over 1. Put x is equal to minus 2, you will get 1 over -4. 1 over -4 is also real, remember that. Anything that lies on a real number line is always real. Negative, 0, positive, all of them are real. The problem comes when you have something as 1 over 0, a number by 0, or you have a result in terms of iota. In those cases, the output is not real. So what is domain? In simple terms, domain is set of those real input values for which function will give us real output values. It's as simple as that. Okay. So let's solve a couple of questions on domain. Once we understand domain thoroughly, then we can move on to range. Now remember that in this topic, the main focus is domain. Once you understand how to calculate domain, calculating range, it's not that difficult, trust me. It's all about calculating domain, that's it, okay? All right. So pause the video and try this question, please. I'll just rewrite this function for you. So this is fx is equal to 1 over mod of x square minus 4, okay? Pause the video and try this question, please. Try it yourself first. All right, let's try this one. So my function is fx is equal to 1 over mod of x square minus 4. Now, when you talk about this function modulus, we know that this modulus will always give us a non-negative result, right? We know that modulus will always give you a non-negative result, that is positive or 0. Now, if I have 1 over modulus and I have a function inside the modulus, in order to calculate the domain, I just need to ensure that the function should not be equal to 0. Because when function is 0, then mod of 0 is 0 and 1 over 0 will be not defined. So in this case, I just need to ensure one thing, that is x square minus 4 should not be equal to 0. Which means x square should not be equal to 4, which means x should not be equal to plus minus 2. because when x is plus minus 2, then x square minus 4 will be equal to 0, and the output will be f of plus minus 2. Let me write that. Output will be f of plus minus 2 will be equal to 1 over mod of 4 minus 4, which is 1 over mod of 0, which is basically not defined. So any other value of x apart from positive and negative 2 will be your domain. Because at positive and negative 2, my x square minus 4 is equal to 0 and mod of 0 is 0. So when you talk about domain of this function, the domain of this function is any value from negative infinity to infinity apart from plus and minus 2. Because you can replace x by any other value apart from plus minus 2, you will always get real value. For example, replace it by 1, you'll get 1 over 3. Replace it by 0, you'll get 1 over 4. Replace it by 5, you'll get 1 over 21. Replace it by minus 5, you will again get 1 over 21. Replace it by, let's suppose, 10, you will get 1 over 96. Replace it by minus 10, you will again get 1 over 96. You can even replace it by decimal also. For example, replace it by 3.9. When you're going to replace it by 3.9, you will get 1 over modulus of 3.9 square minus 4. But this will give you a real value, right? That's the whole point. This will give you a real value. What that value would be, you can calculate that. That's not a big deal. But it would give you a real value. So the domain of this function is any value from negative to positive infinity, just 2 and minus 2 cannot be there. That's the whole point. Alright, let's move on to question 2. Pause the video and try this one. And the root is on the entire function, okay? This is hx is equal to root of x square plus 5x minus 6. Okay, calculate the domain of this function. Pause the video and try this yourself, please. Alright, let's try this one. Now we know that whenever you talk about under root cannot have negative values. Because under root for negative value is not defined in maths. Under root for negative values is not defined for maths. So I just need to ensure one thing, that is x square plus 5x minus 6, this should be greater than or equal to 0. Let's do the middle term splitting. This will become x square plus 6x minus x minus 6 is greater than or equal to 0, or this will become x plus 6 into x minus 1 is greater than or equal to 0. You have two critical points, that is negative 6 and positive 1. So the two roots or the two critical points, negative 6 and positive 1, are dividing our entire number line into three parts. One is greater than 1, one is between negative 6 and 1, and one is less than negative 6. Okay. So I need to know what will be the signs, like will the function be positive or negative. So if I take any value of x which is greater than 1, if I take any value of x which is greater than 1, let's suppose I take it randomly to be 5, then 5 plus 6 is 11 and 5 minus 1 is 4. Basically the point is, this function, this entire function would be positive if I take any value of x greater than 1. Okay. If I take any value between negative 6 and 1, the function will be negative. For example, take 0. 0 plus 6 is 6. 0 minus 1 is minus 1. So the sign is negative. And if I go to the left of negative 6, the function will also be positive. Take any value, for example, take negative 10. Negative 10, positive 6, negative 4. Negative 10, negative 1, negative 11. Two negatives when multiply become positive. At positive 1, function is 0. At negative 6, function is 0. What I am looking for is greater than or equal to 0. That means my domain will be negative infinity to negative 6 union positive 1 to infinity. that would be your domain. You have to include -6 and +1 because root of 0 is 0. Because root of 0 is 0. Okay. So there are two things which you need to understand. I believe you would have understood also. It's not like only knowing how to solve the function. You also need to know when the function is defined and when it's not. Like for root, it should always be greater than or equal to 0. For 1 over something, the denominator cannot be 0, and so on and so forth. Okay. Alright, I hope this one is clear to you. Let's move on to the third one. So this is 1 over entire root of x minus 2 whole square. Pause the video and try this question. Alright, let's try this one. Now in this case, you have to take care of two things. First is the function root, and second is you have something in the form of 1 over fx. You have to take care of both the things. Okay, let's start with the root part first. Now we know that the function inside the root should always be greater than or equal to 0, because root for negative numbers is not defined, which means x minus 2 square should always be greater than or equal to 0, which effectively it is. Okay, because whenever you have a square quantity, the result is always greater than or equal to 0. And second thing is, if you talk about 1 over fx, then I need to ensure that x minus 2 should not be equal to 0, which means x should not be equal to 2. So from the first one, I have like all real values, because no matter what the value of x is, x minus 2 square is always 0 or greater than 0. And from the second one, x is not equal to 2. So combining both the things, I can say that my domain is all real values. Apart from 2. Or you can also write it in this way: negative infinity to infinity apart from 2. Okay. Now some of you must be thinking this, that why didn't you solve this function? Why didn't you simplify this function? And why didn't you rewrite this as 1 over x minus 2? Because you have a square on top of that you have under root, right? So it's basically like x minus 2 square whole to the power 1 by 2. So using the basics of exponents, basic principles of exponents, this should become 1 over x minus 2. First of all, this itself is incorrect. When you're going to simplify this, then this will first of all will become 1 over mod of x minus 2. This will become 1 over mod of x minus 2. Then from here you can say that x minus 2 cannot be equal to 0. That means x cannot be equal to 2. Because if x minus 2 is 0, then we'll have 1 over 0, which is not defined. So in this case, again, you can say that your domain is all real values apart from 2. Remember that under root of x square is not equal to x. Under root of x square is equal to mod of x. Remember this, it's a very important thing. It's a very important concept. The reason being is that I do not know whether x is positive or negative. I do not know that whether x is positive or negative. For example, let's suppose if I take x to be negative 3, then under root of negative 3 square, this is never equal to negative 3. But under root of negative 3 square, this is always equal to modulus of negative 3. Why? The reason is when you talk about under roots as a function is only defined for non-negative numbers. That is, the input value that you can provide within the under root is always 0 or greater than 0. Now, if the input value itself is non-negative, how can the output be negative? Or how can the result of a non-negative number be negative? It can't be. That's the reason. For the same reason, you write root of 4 is 2. The principal value of root of 4 as 2. You don't write it as plus minus 2. Because this function, when you talk about root, this is only defined for non-negative numbers. If something itself is defined as for non-negative numbers, how can the result of that be a negative number? It's not possible. Alright? Okay, let's move on. Pause the video and try this question. I'll rewrite this function for you. This is 1 over x minus root of x plus 2. Okay? Try to calculate the domain for this function. Alright, let's try this one again. So again, the point is you have to take care of 1 over function and you have to also take care of root. Okay, so this root part you have to take care of, and this is the entire 1 over fx part which you have to take care of, and whatever will be the common solution to both, that will be my answer. Okay, let's start with the root part. So if you talk about domain of root of x plus 2, I need to ensure that x plus 2 is always greater than or equal to 0, which means x should always be greater than or equal to negative 2. Which means x should always be greater than or equal to negative 2. Next thing is, let's talk about the 1 over fx part. So I need to ensure that x minus root of x plus 2, this should not be equal to 0. This should not be equal to 0. So x should not be equal to root of x plus 2. So squaring both the sides, I'll get x square should not be equal to x plus 2. Then solving it further, x square minus x minus 2 should not be equal to 0. So x square minus 2x plus x minus 2 should not be equal to 0. So this is x minus 2 into x plus 1 should not be equal to 0, which means x should not be equal to 2 and x should not be equal to negative 1. Now I have a square root equation, right? So whenever you get the result, whenever you square a square root equation and you find out the value of the variable, what you have to do is you have to plug in back the values. So for example, I'm going to start with x being equal to 2. So if x is equal to 2, then I'll get 2 is equal to root of 4, which is correct. This is okay, this will go. But when I'll put x is equal to negative 1, then negative 1 is not equal to root of 1. So this is out. This is out. I just have to take x not being equal to 2 into consideration. Okay, and you can also verify that if I'm going to put x is equal to -1 in here, I'm going to get 1 over -1 negative root of -1 plus 2. This is 1 over -1 negative root of 1. So this is 1 over -2. So this is not coming out to be 0. But when you will put x is equal to 2, then it will come out to be 0. Okay. Alright. So from the first one, the root, I got the result that x is greater than equal to -2. And from the second one, I got the result that x cannot be equal to 2. Which means when we talk about this term domain of this function, my domain will be -2 to infinity apart from 2. Because when you say x is greater than equal to -2, so from -2 to infinity, any value you can take, but you cannot have x equal to 2. So therefore, I have removed that from the domain. And that will be my answer to this question. All right, let's try the next one. Pause the video and try this one, please. All right, let's try this one. So this one is simple. This is 1 over negative root of 2x minus 3. So you just need to ensure one thing in this, that is the denominator should not be equal to 0. Okay, because 1 over 0 is not defined in maths. So I would want negative root 2x negative 3 not equal to 0. Now let's not solve it, let's just think about it for a moment. I know that the result of mod is always greater than or equal to 0. That is basically it is non-negative, right? And I have a negative as its coefficient. So I'm going to multiply this with a negative sign. The result to this will become less than equal to 0. Right? Now less than equal to 0 and I'm subtracting 3 from it. I have a 0 or a negative quantity and I'm subtracting -3 from it. Can I say overall this would become less than equal to -3 or no? I have 0 or a negative quantity and I'm subtracting 3 from it. 0 minus 3 is -3. Anything less than 0, -3 will be less than -3. So one thing is for sure that this value will always be negative. This value will always be negative, which means denominator can never be equal to 0. That means as far as the domain is concerned, domain is simply all real values. In place of x, put anything, you will always get a real output. You will always get a real output. Okay. So this is more or less what you need to know regarding a domain. So I'll just quickly revise it for you. When you talk about the term domain, it's basically those real input values for which your output is always real. For which your output is always real. Okay. And you just need to understand how functions work. That's it. Nothing else is required. All right. So I hope you have understood the meaning of the term domain and how do you calculate domain for different functions. That's also clear to you. If you have any specific question, if you have anything for which you need to calculate domain and you're unable to calculate, please let me know in the comment box. I'll provide you with the answer to that. And let's keep it till here as far as this video is concerned. Let's only focus on the domain part. for this video. In the next one, we'll understand the topic range. Okay, what exactly is range and how do you calculate that? In that, probably we'll also have to understand how to calculate the inverse of a function. Okay. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the video, and do subscribe to the channel if you haven't for more videos and exam related content for SAT, GRE, and GMAT. If you have any queries, if you have any questions, you can mail me, you can WhatsApp me. And if you're looking to have personalized classes for GMAT, GRE, and SAT, you can always connect with us. Alright, guys, so thank you so much. Keep watching and keep learning. Thank you so much.